All right. So this is our top. We wanted to end our little Star Wars segment on a positive note because, I mean, good Lord, Acolyte's bad, and we just went through a bunch of bad Star Wars IPs that are still better than Acolyte, but still not that good. So we wanted to end on a positive note, and this kind of is an ongoing theme on the Salty and Savage show, where it's like, how can, like, instead of just complaining about everything, we're gonna all offer up our own creative ideas. So think of it as like constructive criticism, but also, you know, adding to the conversation of what could you do. And since Hollywood loves to rehash, copy, redo, we thought, hey, you guys like to do that. It's literally all you're doing. Not literally. It's figuratively, but it's kind of what you're always doing now. You're like, oh, Thundercats, let's do that. Oh, nostalgia, let's do that. Oh, let's remake this movie again and again and again. So what if you took some cool movies from the past and decided to turn them into and adapt them for a Star Wars IP, as a Star Wars IP?
Like an example would be like, imagine The Goonies, but it's a Padawan story, and you know, it follows them on a trip, and they find, which is basically what a number of episodes of the Clone Wars did. I'm sure there's an episode that you could equate directly to a Goonies episode, maybe when the kids are going to get their lightsabers. I don't know if that was Rebels or Clone Wars, where the kids were going to get their kyber crystals for the lightsabers in the caves, the younglings or whatever. So it was a very Goonies kind of thing. You know, they had to work with each other, and the one kid who was trying to, you know, be better than the others ended up, you know, being kind of a dick and getting, like, he got stuck inside or something, and he was like, oh, he's gonna be there for eternity. Wah wah. Now, and that's why you always leave a note.
Yeah, so we thought, hey, how about some movies where you seriously just take the movie, and same movie,
adapt it,
no gender swapping, and just be like, yo, what would it be like if this was set in a Star Wars world? How good would it be?
How good would it be?
So, number five,
we're coming up hot with a clip.
Now, how cool would Yojimbo be as a Star Wars movie? I mean, everyone's gonna love that movie. They're gonna be like, dude, we're watching that movie.
It almost, I mean, and a lot of these movies, a lot of these things, you know, the stories would naturally fit in the Star Wars universe because the way they've already adapted a number of the characters. So,
Hidden Fortress was one. I mean, Hidden Fortress literally was Star Wars: A New Hope. And that was in a Kira Kurosawa film. I mean, this is a natural. You have a Jedi. He's got a white saber. He's no longer, you know, blue or green. He's not going to be red. He's like somewhere in the middle, a Ronin, you know, and he's dropped down into a town, right? And what were you saying about the two factions? You had a really interesting take on the two factions.
Did I? Oh,
the
yeah.
Hutts.
So like it could possibly be, yeah, if you're going to do it, you know, maybe it's like one is a division of the Hutts, you know, some of the cousins, because they're all gangsters, they're all thugs of some sort, money launderers, etc. And then maybe the other is like Hondo and the pirates or something, and they're kind of the two factions that are like on this planet or in this small town. Maybe it's on a small planet, and it's like a jump off point for where the pirates do their stuff and also the Hutts do their stuff. Who knows? Because you could do anything for Star Wars.
I think it would be great as just like a port, right? Like I remember there was like one port, like when you played Knights of the Old Republic 2, there was a port called Nar Shaddaa, and there was a lot going on in Nar Shaddaa. You could actually just have Nar Shaddaa and it could be an old kingdom story too, where you have a Jedi that's like, and if you guys have ever seen Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, basically what it is there's a guy who's like really good at killing people. He's like a soldier for hire. He doesn't really have an allegiance to anyone, and he kind of falls into this like town in the middle of nowhere. And there's these two gang factions that are fighting over control of the town and the resource that is exporting the town. And then he decides they're trying to hire him, and he decides that he's going to kill everyone and free the town from these a-holes that are taking over the town, which is a great Star Wars idea. So Jedi, Nar Shaddaa, that's your movie.
Yojimbo. do it. I mean, it just makes total sense. So it comes in at number 5. It really, I mean, it could be number 1. I mean, it's a fantastic.
Yeah. But, I mean, all of these honestly could be number 1. Well, maybe not our number 4, but we wanted to start you guys off with something that was just like on the nose. And then number 4, number 4 is fun. What's number 4?
Number 4 is a little off the nose.
Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears.
It's so good. Oh my god!
There was a lot of Ewok stuff in our top 5 worst best, right? There was a lot of Ewok stuff. So imagine if you just took, and you could do this as an episodic, like as a television show, essentially, a series, and it's Star Wars Ewoks. And you have a little girl or a little boy in there running around with the Ewoks, and they're trying to run away from stormtroopers.
He's the friend, and then the town or the empire that's local is like always having issues with them or whatever, but they always manage to foil them in their plans to try to destroy the Jedis when they come to visit or whatever it is, and it's all wrapped up in a cutesy bow, but at the same time,
you could animate it, you could be live action, like there's a lot you could do it, and it's for the children.
It's for the children.
The children.
It's for the children.
And again, better than anything that they're doing right now. Take notes, Kathleen Kennedy. I know you won't, because we don't look like you want us to look. And the Force is a feminist.
But did you tell them it's for the children?
It's for the kids.
It's for the kids, dog. Tell them it's for the children. So Gummy Bears comes in at number 4 of our top 5.
You guys all agree. Frost Comics is in the chat. He should be in the chat right now being like, my kids will love it, and they will.
Ooh, I'm going to give a quick shout out. Cannonball Run.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's a good one. It's a Kessel Run, kind of thing, but you do it a little. I do like the heavy comedic aspect and bringing in a bunch of like super characters, just like really just wild characters.
I like it. I like that idea a lot.
I do like that. All right, so
so
that was number 4. Number 3.
Number 4. Now number 3.
Number 3.
You're gonna love it. You guys are gonna love this one.
This could be interesting.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
This one's the wild card, and the jury's still out on this one. Savage has to sell this one to you guys, because I was very much like, I think Cannonball Run's a better one than this one, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, Cannonball Run is actually a brilliant idea, but I thought it'd be a fascinating idea because there are so many, they hint on so many different creatures and crazy animals and dangerous things that are all throughout the Star Wars universe in so many different episodes and films, that what if we kind of spun that on its head, and what if some crazy motherfucker was like, look, I built this planet and it's like a giant amusement park, and we got all these crazy animals that you've seen in all the different movies and episodes on Disney Plus over the years, and we got them all in this one park. Oh, and by the way, we're genetically engineering new ones, and we're bringing back like above ground sarlaccs, and we're bringing back like all sorts of weird shit. And and you can either go run with it and make it like really heavy, or you can bring the kids into it and make it one of those kind of like a Jurassic Park kind of a crossover tween, like where the kids can enjoy it, but also adults can enjoy it too, because it's got both sides of humor. But I don't know. I just thought it would be pretty fascinating with the number of wild animals, just absolutely crazy animals and crazy races and various things. And some of these things, maybe they discover that one of these things is actually like a race of sentient, whatever, that is trying to communicate with them the whole time and is super smarter than them, but they just haven't been able to do it. And then they completely
I think it could work. It's one of those things where it's like he does do a good pitch, right? I mean, Savage, maybe at first, the more I hear about it, I'm like,
maybe not.
And again, but here's the thing, this is still better after Mandalorian. It's better than anything that's been made after Mandalorian. I just think that
it's almost like
with everything they're making, you're like, why not? Just do that then, and do that, and it'll be great.
There could have almost been an episode of Boba Fett that was just like him, where he went to a planet and then he told them about how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, And they're like, oh, well, we breed all sorts of animals here. We've got a sarlacc and blah, blah, and but it could be its own thing, because you are also able to introduce more of these crazy doctors and space wizards and various other things that are necessary to create to keep a facility like this in line. And the terraforming and things they can do with the planets in the Star Wars universe, like you could do some crazy stuff where maybe everything's contained.
Look, the Baron has already said you sold it. You sold it. You sold it.
I'm sorry.
We're sold.
I'm sorry.
Amoeba's like, that is fascinating. As a biologist, totally like it. And Amoeba would know. She's going to college for biology.
What?
Or as a biologist. You're a biologist? I don't know.
Smart.
She'll tell us. Simply Green with a great idea. I like this idea, bro. Lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. Snatch. Yeah, just give a Guy Ritchie a shot. I agree. Because Snatch is a great one, but but both are like kind of caper-ish, you know, and I always like caper. Yeah. A good caper film works in Star Wars, especially with like a Han Solo character. Totally works, bro. Totally
great caper. Hey, what are you, it's yes or no. Are you into doing a job with me tonight? We're going across space and time to do a job. Are you in or are you out?
That's pretty good, man. I think that's pretty good.
That's my Guy Ritchie movie character impression. Are you going to do a job or are you not going to do a job?
Will it be a big job?
Of course it's going to be a big job. Not big for you, but big enough.
Like a big job?
Big enough to make our wallets fat and make you think about not having to do another job ever. Dropping down.
Number two
on the list of the top.
It's good. This is a good one.
And I think this is natural. I think everyone totally gets this.
Wow. Dude, can you imagine X-Wing fighters? The guy's riding on his speeder. The X-Wing fighters taking off. You got the sweet, sweet 80s music, because we want to make America 80s again on this show, Salty and Savage. You know that would be a awesome Star Wars film. X-Wing, Top Gun, X-Wing. So good.
Now, a bunch of people will probably comment about that they did have plans to make a very Top Gun-esque fighter pilot-based show or film. I don't remember what it was supposed to be with. I think Patty Jenkins was supposed to be at the helm, which I think was an atrocious idea in the first place, but she sold it because...
Who's Patty Jenkins? Who's Patty Jenkins? For those that don't know.
Isn't she the person who directed the Wonder Woman films, I believe?
Yeah. And the Wonder Woman, the first one was, it was okay. It was okay.
I mean, it was watchable, and the storyline was atrocious. The second one was looked super cool, but was a terrible movie. It was just terrible.
I like the 80s artwork for the posters and stuff.
But apparently,
yeah, that was. And she was gonna. Oh, I'm gonna do the X-Wing film because my daddy was a fighter pilot.
It was a fighter pilot or something like that, and she totally sold it to Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, we're going to give her all this money and she's going to develop and do this. And that was a few years ago, and it's been nothing but crickets since. I think that they realized that they should not be putting, I mean, they were already going heavy into the Star Wars paint. I think they realized that they're like, maybe we announced way too many things way too early, because I'm thinking maybe this project is going to be pushed way back, and hopefully Patty Jenkins doesn't even do it. Hopefully somebody else, hopefully a fighter pilot turned director, or anybody, even Tom Cruise would be better at directing that film.
Uncapped Turtle telling us something about himself. I think revealing a little bit more about yourself than anything else, because I'm sorry that you are uncomfortable with men enjoying sports volleyball with their shirts off, listening to Kenny Loggins. I'm sorry that made you uncomfortable, but Top Gun is an awesome American movie, and if you disagree, you can move to Russia.
He does not want to take a ride into the danger zone. Uncapped. Hey, Uncapped, how great does that top 5 animation look?
But what is number 1? Ooh, what's number 1, guys? Ooh.
I mean, I mean, if
number one's good, just play it. Just play it.
All right, sorry. I'm just. All right. Hopefully Ennio Morricone, I think that's who composed that.
Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, there's so many ways you could take this. There's so many different directions.
First off, this is brilliant. Any of these Clint Eastwood films from this era you could do, but
yeah, the Sergio Leone. You could take the Sergio Leone catalog and be like, we're just gonna make Star Wars movies inspired by each of these Sergio Leone films. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, probably one of the tops. The thing that you could do with that is so great. Like, you could actually retell in a better way, in a much greater way, and just ignore the movie Solo altogether. And you could tell the story of Han Solo, because Chewbacca could be the ugly, and that's how they end up becoming friends, because they start off as enemies, and like, you know, or the whole... Dude, I mean, come on. It's just such a good idea.
There's so much potential.
Absolutely the best. That would be the best way to just be like, okay, we're restarting everything. Everything's been terrible for the last 5 years.
How great would Cad Bane be in this film?
Oh,
Cad Bane, dude. What a great
as the bad.
Probably the bad, right? As the bad.
Like, Howard Van Cleef's character.
Dude, so like he's it's almost like they modeled Cad Bane after that character. He would be unbelievably perfect. You would have to change nothing about him. His voice is unreal as well. I freaking love it.
Yeah, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Man, dude, that Ennio Morricone's music just makes me
so good.
I honestly, if I was an executive at Disney, I would contemplate and really seriously think about trying to, you know, license a lot of his catalog, a lot of his music, and taking it and just ever so slightly giving it a little bit of Star Wars John Williams love, and just having that as the soundtrack for my film, and be like, yeah, we did it. Why? Why not?
A little bit of space banjo.
Why not? And people will be like, oh, you couldn't come up with anything original. Yeah, because you know what? Why come up with something original when that exists and is wonderful and beautiful and would work with lightsabers and blasters?
It would be so great. It'd be so great.
Although I think the Good, the Bad, the Ugly Star Wars version would be best without any Jedi. No Jedi.
It would be like a Jedi-less film. That's actually an even hotter take. I think that's an even hotter take. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as a Star Wars film with no Jedi. A Jedi-less Star Wars film. I love it. What does the chat have to say about that?
Yeah.
What do y'all got to say?
Salty Papa says, preach it to the choir, or speak it to the choir. That's what we all do here at the Salty Savage Show. And if you don't like it, we definitely invite you to hate watch. We definitely invite you to hate watch.
Hey, we'd love to have a hate watch here. That's part of why we're here, because there ain't no way everybody's gonna like us. Not gonna happen.
Anyone's gonna like
Not gonna happen. But
all right, so we are past the hour and a half mark, dude. We are past the hour and a half mark.
What does that mean? Does that?
So wait, well, real quick, how does everyone feel about our top fives? You guys love it. I know you guys love it. You know that should happen. I know you know all 5 of those movies. Yes, Uncapped Turtle can't wait for the Top Gun version of Star Wars. He wants that for himself. He wants to keep it to himself in a secret, dark, dry place in his heart. We know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. That is our top 5.